Okay, let's look at installing the software Elementor, and then let's go ahead and do this page build. So we're going to let me go to share screen, and we're going to go to our WordPress site. We're going to go down to plugins, add new. We're going to go over to the right and search for Elementor, E-L-E-M-E-N-T-O-R. Bam. Let's take a look. Here is the Elementor software. We want the Elementor page builder, the most advanced front-end drag and drop page builder, create high-end pixel perfect websites at record speeds, anytime, any theme, any page, any design. Highly recommend it. Let's go install now. So we're going to install the Elementor page builder. So we have a few things we need to do to get set up, and then we're going to go and we're going to build a page of content with some images, with some text, and so on. So it should be fun. All right, let's get through this. So it's installing. That's almost done. And installed and activate. All right, so now we've got the Elementor software activated, and we're ready to get started. So the first thing we're going to do, we have to do a little bit of house cleaning. We're going to go to appearance, and we're going to go to themes. And I want to choose the theme 2019 and activate. And the reason why is because I don't want the, a lot of the structural elements are still being controlled by the theme. And when you get the Elementor Pro, you can override those, but we're using the free one, and I want the navigation bar to be at the top. Even though we're not designing the navigation bar, I don't want the navigational element on the left. Okay, so you could go through and do the whole customization, and we've done that before in the beginning class. What we're going to do here, we're just going to do a couple of things to get this set up properly. So one, we're going to go to pages, and we're going to choose add new. And we're going to call this the home page. So we're just going to work on the home page. I'm going to click home, and then I'm going to go up and click publish. I'll click publish again, updating, and now we're published. Now we're going to go back, appearance, and go to customize. And what we want to do is designate this page as the first page that comes up on the site. Remember doing this in the beginning class where under home page settings, we have to tell, so here's a preview of what we're going to be building. I've already been working on it. We're going to choose, so let's take a look while we're here. So here's the layout that we're going to be doing. So what we've got here is a header, a nice featured image, another header, a block of text on the left, an illustration, a video clip from YouTube, some more text. And that's basically the layout that we're going to build. We're going to do this from scratch. So we're going to go to home and click publish. And when you do that, we're starting over. Now let's go back by clicking the back button. And I want to make sure that I mentioned this. I went to widgets and I disabled all the widgets. So I just opened up each widget and clicked remove. And I removed all the widgets, which would have been at the bottom of the page. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, now we're ready to start building. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to media, and we're going to import our assets. So we're going to go to media, library, add new. And we're going to click drop files to upload. I'm going to click select files. And I showed you how to download the project files, which have to do with the images and the text and the link to the video. In this case, they're in my downloads folder. The CBA Slim project folder, I double click and open that. and I want to select the PNGs and the JPEGs. I do not need to import the text files, the ODT or the RTF files. I just want to select those 3 images and click open. Now I've already done that. If we go to my library, here are the images that we're going to be working with. Oops, it did it twice. I don't know how that happened, but anyway. So here are the images that we'll be working with. We've already imported them, and so they're ready to be used. Okay. Now let's go back to Pages, and we're going to go to Home, Front Page, and we're going to click Edit. And what we'll do from here is we'll jump into the Elementor page editor. So I go up and I click Edit with Elementor. So it's going to load the Elementor, which is a separate page design environment. So Divi, Elementor, Visual Composer all have these things in common. They're very powerful page editors. They allow for you to create a much more sophisticated layout. So we'll go through this real quick. I don't want to kill you with it, but I want to give you some understanding of just how powerful this is. So when you open up Elementor, you'll see there's a bunch of elements over here. Elementor, a bunch of elements over here that can be used immediately. So we're under Elements, and you'll see that there's things called intersection, headings, images, text, buttons, video, dividers, etc. I can grab this bar and I can drag down. There's another section for Pro, which has much more advanced features like posts, portfolio, forms, galleries, slides, price tables, call to action, etc. And then there are some general elements like image box, icon box, image carousels, basic gallery, and so on. So the idea is that, you know, if you want the really groovy stuff, you need to update to the Pro. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go down and click this little gear in the lower left-hand corner for settings, and you'll see it says page layout. We're not going to change anything else. We're just going to move that from page layout to Elementor full width. Okay, so that's going to allow Elementor to expand over the whole width of the document. I changed my mind. Let's set it to Elementor Canvas instead. Okay, there we go. Okay, so once again, the idea is that we're going to have this thing full width across the page or across the whole canvas. As I work, I can click Update. I just click that green button from time to time. Some of the other things that's really cool is that there's a little history button down in the lower left-hand corner. When I click that, it will show me the page edits that I've made, and I can step backwards. So if I've made a mistake, I can step backwards. And lots of times, you know, WordPress can be very unforgiving. I'm going to click the little pancake up here. So under the Elementor, there's this little arrow in the upper left-hand corner cycles me through these different elements. So here's my basic elements, and then there are global elements that need to be activated using the Pro version. I can click the little pancake up here, and I can set default colors for the whole site. I can set default fonts. I'm going to use the default fonts that are already in here, but I can set the primary headlines, secondary headline, body text, and so on. With Elementor, I can choose a theme style. And so these are really cool elements that I can modify, typography, buttons, and so on. I can modify them from this area. I'm going to close that. I'm going to get back to my standard editor. So I have these global settings here that are very powerful. I'm going to go back by clicking the pancake. And so that's basically where we'll start. So let's look at a couple more things. One is that I can load templates, which can be a real game changer. It can be very helpful to you to load a template because it can save you a lot of time. So if I click the little add template button in the middle of the screen, a little folder button, you'll see that it opens up the Elementor library, and there's three parts here. There's the blocks, the pages, and my template. So here's a bunch of pages, and I can choose any of these and insert them into the page. And when I insert it into the page, I can then just select the various elements on the page and modify them. Now, some of them are pro and some of them are free. So the fancy ones, of course, are professional. And if I select one, I click insert, it's going to allow me to insert that. Now, the problem with this is that to set up the insert, you have to set up an account at Elementor. I've done that for my own personal use, but in this exercise for class, I'm not going to ask you to do that. But you set up a username and password at Elementor, and then you're able to insert these page layouts. I'm going to click back to library. In addition to that, they have something called blocks. If I click on blocks, it's going to allow me to insert these structural components. So the idea is that these are various layouts or structural elements that I can just drop onto a page and then configure. So once again, allows you to create very sophisticated layouts and can really improve the quality of your web design. Once again, I have to have set up my account at Elementor, so we won't be using those in this session. The last is my templates. Now, one of the other things that's really cool about Divi, about Visual Composer, about Elementor, and one of the things that Gutenberg didn't do and should have done was allowed you to create templates based on your work. Gutenberg has a way to save a block and then pass that block from one page to another, but not the whole page. So what this allows me to do is to save a template. So I can save the whole page, or I can load sections from a page. And this can really speed up a design. So after I get a certain element laid out, and I want that element to, let's say the header, and I want it to look the same on every page, I can save it as a template and then reuse it within my own site. And then you can even import and export templates from one site into another. So that's just kind of an idea of some of the really cool features here. So we're going to start with something a little bit more simply. We're going to go to the Add New Section button. When I click that Add New Section, you'll see I have structures, right? So a single row, or one column, two columns, three columns, evenly divided, etc. Now, after I choose these column structures, I can modify them even more. And we're going to start with a single column. I'm going to click and load that. That's at the top of the page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a header into there. So we're going to go back, click on the pancake. We're going to go click the little arrow pointing left, and I'm going to grab the heading, drag it, and drop it in there. And it says add your heading here. I can type here, or I can type over in the box on the left. It's a little easier to type on the box on the left. We're going to type chicken bone slim in the house. Forgive my horrible typing. All right, so there's our header. Now, we can do different things. One is I can change the size. I can change which HTML tag we're using, and the alignment. I'm going to center this. And in this palette, I can do other things. I can go up to Style, and I can choose the text color. So what I want to do in this case is I want to go to Advanced, and I want to go to Background, and I want to make the background color black, and click Update. Now I'm going to go back to Style, and I'm going to make the text color white, and that looks pretty cool. And I'm going to click Update for that. Okay. So now we're starting to get something that looks really good. Now we're going to go back to the pancake, and we're going to click back on the arrow, And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag in another widget. We're going to click on the add new section. We're going to add another full section. And this time we're going to go to the pancake and then the arrow, and we're going to drag in a photo. We're going to, actually, instead of dragging in a photo, we're going to look at some of the section elements here. So if I go to section here and I click the little grid, I can edit the section. And what I want to do is drop an image into the background of the section. So this is kind of cool. So I'm actually, instead of putting a photo in the foreground, I'm adding a photograph to the background. So I'm going to go to Style. I'm going to go to Background Type. And I can insert a color or an image. We're going to insert an image. So we're going to come over here to where it says Choose Image and click. And the image we're going to choose is this one here, which is Chicken Bone sitting in his car. And we're going to click Insert Media. And that's going to drop it over here in that section there. Now it's in that section, but what we want to do, let's see, look at my notes. Sorry, we want to change the height of the document. So we want to go to Layout, Height, Minimum Height. There we go. And we'll drag this down to 400 or so. I'll just type in 400. And we want to take the image and modify it. Under Style, I'm going to go to Repeat and choose No Repeat. Under Size, we're going to choose Cover. Let's go back to Layout, and we'll increase the minimum height. So we have something like this. I'm going to click Update. Let's go back up to Edit Section on the graphic up here. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to change the background there. Go to Style, Background Overlay. I'm going to make that black as well. So I click here, choose black, and then I have to adjust the opacity. I'll set that to 0. I want it to be black. I'll click Update. So now we've got this really nice looking header here. And we're ready to add in a couple of more sections. So as you see here, you can do something that's really sophisticated. First thing we're going to do is we're going to copy. You can copy sections using Elementor. And you can also duplicate sections, same thing. So let's copy this section here. So up here, Edit Section, I click the plus. Now actually I right click on the little grid and I choose Duplicate. And now I'm going to grab the grid and drag it and drop it underneath. And we're going to change that section here by clicking inside and change that to Chicken Bone Slim's new album is now on sale. Okay, so we're reusing that element. So now let's click Update, and we're ready to start working on those sections on in the middle of the page. So what I did in this case, so I'm going to go down and click on Add New Section, and I'm going to use the 2 column structure here, drop that in, and we're going to put text on the left and the album cover on the right. So I'm going to go back over to the pancake. I'm going to hit the arrow, and here are my different sections, my different elements. And I want to grab the intersection, no, the text editor and drag that and drop that into the section here. You see, you just drop that right in. And then I'll add in the text for the section. Let's do the other part first. I'm going to hit the, well, actually, let's continue here. So we've got that set up. Let's open up the text from the hard drive. So I'm going to go back to my hard drive. And I'm going to go to Documents. I'm going to open up, I'm sorry, Downloads. I'm going to open up the project folder and open up the text file. And we're going to grab this first block of text. We're going to select that. We're going to copy that. And then we'll paste it into this area here. So if I come over, it's set to paragraph. You see here I've got a little kitchen sink where I can add links, I can bold, I can italicize. I'm just going to drop that text in by selecting here and pasting. So I copied from one, pasted into the other. And when I click there, there's my block of text. And that's looking pretty good. We're going to make the background black, the text white in a second. Let's drop in the image next. And then we'll come back and we'll modify all this. Let's click Update. So there's our, we're starting to get something that looks pretty good. Now let's drop in the image. So I'm going to click the pancake, click the arrow, and we're going to grab a video. No, let's see. Let's grab the image and drag that and drop it into the other section. And we want to grab that album cover. So to activate that, I just click here. Then I click over on Choose Image. And here's the album cover. Chicken Bone Slim Sleeper. Click Insert Media. And there we go. That looks really good. Now, what we're going to do is let's click Update to save what we've done. And we're going to change the background of the page. And we're going to, of this section, we're going to make the page black. So when I click on the little blue lip here, I can add a section, I can grab a section and move it, or I can delete a section. When I click here, it gives me the options for the section. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Style, we're going to go to Background Type, and we're going to choose Color. And you can do different things. You can load a video into the background, you can make the background a gradient, you can do very sophisticated things. We're going to keep it really simple for this. I'm going to click Color, and I'm just going to, and then you can actually type in your own colors as well, right? I'm going to click on black to make the page black and click Update. And I think I want to make the text white so it's more contrasty. So I'm going to click back into that cell, and then I go up to Style, and I go to Text Color, and I'm going to choose white and click Update. So now we got something that's starting to look pretty good. Starting to look pretty good. Let's add in another section, and in this time, we're going to use 2 columns again. So I'm going to go down to the Add New Section. I'm going to check and choose the 2-column structure. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a video clip from YouTube on the left and some more text on the right. All right, so we're going to go over to our pancake, and we're going to go to the arrow, click the arrow, and we're going to grab the video box. And all you do is you click it and you drag it into the area, and then you configure it over on the left. And then remember that there's the elements that are inside of those different sections, and then there's page elements that can be selected that allow you to control the whole section. So I'm going to grab that video, drag it and drop it in. Got to make sure you drop it in the right place. And there's my video, and it's going to say video placeholder. And we'll go back and we're going to add that video in just a second. Let's do the page area on the right. So we're going to click Update. Remember to click Update. Remember, if you make a mistake, you can always use the history to step backwards. So that's one of the things I like about Elementor. Now, we're going to click the pancake, and we're going to click the arrow, and we're going to choose the text editor and drag it and drop it in. Now, you know, I was just thinking what we could have done was just copied this down and it would have kept all the structure and then pasted in the text. That would have been a little bit faster, but you know, hindsight's always 20/20. So here's our text. We're going to go back to our Word document. Did I close it? Let's go back up and open it again. And this time I'm going to grab this second block of text right here and copy it. And there's links in here, so you can go back in and you can add in the links and all that type of stuff. And then I'm going to click into that text region, select the text that's already in there, and paste. Control V on my keyboard. And it's going to paste that text in, and click, and there's my text. It's looking pretty good. And we're going to make that text white, but let's change the background of the page. So we're going to go up and we're going to click on the Edit Section button. We're going to go to Style. We're going to go to Background Type. We're going to change the color. We're going to make it black. Very good. Let's click Update. So this is starting to look pretty cool. So here's a nice looking website. And it's a very simple layout. Obviously, you can do much more sophisticated things with this. But this kind of gives you an idea of how much further you can get using things like Divi and WP Bakery and Elementor. Remember, this is free. So we're going to go back down. And we're going to change the color of this text. I'm going to click on that text block to activate it on the left. I'm going to go up to Style. I'm going to go to Text Color. I'm going to make the text white. Click Update. Now, let's add in our video clip. Let's add in our video clip, and I'll show you how to do that. So I have the link. So I went to YouTube and I looked up one of his videos. So I have the link for the video, and all I have to do is punch in that link into the area. So I click Choose Your Video over here. I go to Content. Wait, let's see here. We got to get this to activate. I'll click the little pencil. There we go. So when I click the pencil here, you'll see